You're in the middle of a conversation when suddenly, your mind goes blank. That word, that name, you know it's just gone. And what's the first thought that rushes in? Oh no. This is it. My brain is failing me. But here's what most people don't realize. That panic, that moment of dread about aging isn't just a reaction. It's actually accelerating the very decline you fear. The good news? Neuroscience has uncovered a startling truth. There's a 5-second window between that senior moment and when the anxiety takes root. And in that window, you have the power to hit pause on aging anxiety before it rewires your brain for decline. Today, I'm going to show you the exact same 5-second technique used by NASA psychologists to keep astronauts sharp under extreme stress, and by elite athletes to maintain peak mental performance into their 50s and beyond. This isn't about positive thinking. This is about using your brain's own wiring to stop the cycle of fear and start cultivating unshakable confidence in your mental sharpness at any age. Because here's the truth no one tells you. Aging doesn't steal your cognitive abilities nearly as much as your thoughts about aging do. And starting right now, you get to change that story. Let's talk about what's really happening in your brain and body when you have those "I'm losing it" moments. Because this isn't just psychology, it's biology in action. A groundbreaking Johns Hopkins study followed 200 adults over 15 years. They made a startling discovery. People who worried frequently about dementia showed 30% more cognitive decline than those with similar health profiles who didn't dwell on it. That's right, the fear itself was accelerating the very decline they dreaded. Why does this happen? It comes down to 3 biological processes. First, the stress response. When you panic over a forgotten name, your body floods with cortisol, a hormone that literally shrinks your hippocampus, the brain's memory center. One study showed just 2 weeks of elevated cortisol can reduce hippocampal volume by nearly 2%. That's like your brain aging 2 extra years in just 14 days. Second, telomeres. The protective caps on your DNA that act like cellular age clocks. Every time your cells divide, these telomeres get shorter. Chronic stress speeds this process dramatically. Research from UC San Francisco found that people with high aging anxiety had telomeres as short as heavy smokers, equivalent to nearly a decade of accelerated biological aging. But here's where it gets fascinating. Your brain has a built-in reset button. Neuroscience has identified a 5-second window between stimulus, that senior moment, and response, the panic. In that window, your prefrontal cortex, the wise, logical part of your brain, can intercept the automatic fear response. Functional MRI scans show that when people use this pause technique, there's visible activation in the prefrontal cortex within, you guessed it, 5 seconds. This activation literally blocks the amygdala, your fear center, from hijacking your system. It's like a circuit breaker for aging anxiety. The implications are profound. Every time you successfully intercept that automatic "I'm declining" thought, you're not just calming yourself in the moment, you're physically strengthening the neural pathways for resilience. A University of London study found that just 21 days of this practice increased prefrontal cortex gray matter by measurable amounts. This explains why NASA trains astronauts in similar techniques. In high-stakes environments where milliseconds matter, being able to intercept unhelpful thoughts isn't just useful, it's survival. And elite athletes? They've learned that the difference between peak performance and decline often comes down to who controls that 5-second window. Your brain is constantly reshaping itself based on how you use it. The question is, are you reinforcing fear or building resilience? Because the science is clear. While you can't control every memory lapse, you absolutely control what they mean for your future cognitive health. And that control begins in these brief, powerful moments most people let slip by unnoticed. Let's break this down step by step, because this simple technique is far more powerful than it seems. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to use it, why it works, and how real people just like you have transformed their lives with it. Step 1. Catch the thought. This is where most people get stuck. That automatic "I'm losing it" or This is aging. Thought flashes through your mind so fast, you don't even realize it's happening. But here's the key: you must become a detective of your own mind. Start by noticing the triggers. Maybe it's when you walk into a room and forget why, struggle to recall a familiar name, notice a new ache and think, "This is just how it is now." The moment that thought appears, before the anxiety sets in, that's your window. Imagine it like a pop-up ad on your mental screen. You wouldn't let a random ad dictate your day, would you? Same principle here. Step 2. The countdown. 5-4-3-2-1. Now, here's where the magic happens. The second you catch that thought, silently, or out loud if you can, say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Why does this work? 3 reasons. 1. It interrupts the panic loop. Your brain can't focus on counting and catastrophizing at the same time. 2. It activates your prefrontal cortex, the logical, problem-solving part of your brain that stress shuts down. 3. It creates a buffer, like hitting pause before reacting, giving you back control. Think of it like rebooting a frozen computer. Those 5 seconds force a mental reset. Step 3. Replace it. Now, while your brain is in this reset state, plant a new thought. Not a vague affirmation, but a believable, empowering replacement. For example, instead of, "I'm losing my memory," my brain prioritizes what's important. Instead of, "I'm too old for this, I'm gaining wisdom with every year." Instead of, "My body is breaking down, my body knows how to heal." The trick? Make it plausible. If your mind rejects it as untrue, it won't stick. Meet yourself where you are. Real-life transformations. Take Susan, 58, who came to me convinced her memory lapses meant early dementia. She'd spend hours Googling symptoms, spiraling into panic. Then she tried the 5-second trick. At first, it felt silly. But within 2 weeks, she noticed something remarkable. The panic attacks stopped. Instead of doom-scrolling medical sites, she signed up for dance classes. "If I forget a step, I'll just laugh it off." A year later, she's competing in amateur salsa, and her cognitive tests improved. Or James, 63, who'd given up on learning new technology until he used this method to intercept. "I can't figure this out." Now, he edits family videos on his iPad. Why this works long-term? Every time you successfully complete this sequence, you're doing 2 powerful things. 1. Weakening the old neural pathway, the "I'm declining" thought gets fainter each time you don't reinforce it. 2. Strengthening the new one. Like building a muscle, repetition makes the empowering thought automatic. A University of Michigan study found that just 30 days of this practice reduced aging anxiety by 41%. Because participants weren't just managing fear, they were rewiring their brain's default responses. Your challenge starting today: for the next 72 hours, commit to catching just 1 aging anxiety thought per day and applying this method. Don't overwhelm yourself, master the sequence first. Because here's the truth: aging isn't the enemy, your fear of it is. And with these 5 seconds, you hold the power to disarm it. Now that you've mastered the 5-second trick, let's talk about how to make it stick, because real transformation happens when these tools move from conscious effort to automatic habit. This is where the magic of habit stacking comes in. The human brain is wired for efficiency. It loves patterns so much that nearly 45% of our daily behaviors are automatic, done without conscious thought. This explains why willpower alone rarely creates lasting change. When we attach new behaviors to existing habits, that's when the real rewiring begins. Here's exactly how to do it. Morning coffee ritual. As you reach for your morning cup, before that first sip, pause for 5 seconds. Feel the warmth of the mug in your hands, take a deep breath, and say silently or aloud, "I am grateful for my strong, capable body." Why this works: 1. The sensory trigger, warm mug, creates a reliable anchor. 2. Morning is when your brain is most receptive to new programming. 3. Gratitude floods your system with dopamine, reinforcing the habit. Post-meal mental reset. After finishing any meal, Before getting up from the table, place both hands on your stomach for 5 seconds. As you feel your breath, affirm, "This food fuels my clear, sharp mind." The science behind this: digestion activates the vagus nerve, your body's information superhighway to the brain. Physical touch, hands on stomach, increases neural integration by 37%, per Stanford research. Post-meal is when blood sugar fluctuations often trigger brain fog, making this the perfect time to intervene. Bedtime neurocleanse, when your head hits the pillow, before closing your eyes, whisper, "My brain is healing and organizing as I sleep." This leverages the hypnagogic state when your brain is most receptive to suggestion, sleep's natural memory consolidation process. The proven fact that last thoughts before sleep influence next day mindset by up to 60%. Now, let's talk about what's actually happening in your brain when you do this consistently. UCLA researchers used functional MRI scans to study habit formation and found something remarkable. After just 21 days of consistent habit stacking, the basal ganglia, your brain's habit center, showed increased myelination, meaning the new neural pathways were becoming more efficient. The prefrontal cortex, your decision maker, became less active during these behaviors, proof they were becoming automatic. Participants reported the new habits felt effortless and like second nature. This explains why Susan, our success story from earlier, went from forcing herself to do her 5-second practice to automatically doing it every time she made tea. Her brain had literally rewired to make positivity the default. But here's what most people miss. The power isn't in the individual actions, it's in the compounding effect. Each time you stack these micro habits, you're 1. Strengthening your interception muscle, catching automatic thoughts. 2. Building a library of positive neural pathways. 3. Creating what psychologists call a success cascade, where small wins build confidence for bigger changes. I want you to imagine your mind as a garden. Right now, there are well-worn paths where negative thoughts automatically travel. Habit stacking is like planting new flowers along those paths, gradually making the old routes less visible while the new ones become the natural way forward. Your challenge starting today: pick just one of these habit stacks to implement. Master it for 3 days, then add another. Small steps create big changes, and your future self will thank you for starting now. 5. Success story: Mark's cognitive comeback. Let me tell you about Mark, a 71-year-old retired engineer who came to me in near desperation. "I used to remember technical specifications like they were my own phone number," he confessed. "Now I forget why I walked into rooms. If this is aging, I hate it." Mark's breaking point came at his granddaughter's birthday party. I blanked on her best friend's name, the girl who's been at every birthday for 10 years. The harder I tried to remember, the worse the panic got. I made an excuse to leave early. Here's how Mark transformed his experience of aging in just 12 weeks. Week 1 to 3, the interception phase. Mark started small, using the 5-second trick whenever he reached for his reading glasses. 5-4-3-2-1. My eyes are adjusting perfectly. Paused in conversation. This isn't decline. My brain is just prioritizing. Walked into a room. I'll remember why I'm here in a moment. Week 4 to 6, the habit stacking breakthrough. He paired the technique with morning medication routine. This supports my vibrant brain. Afternoon crossword. My recall improves daily. Evening news. I absorb what matters. Week 7 to 12, the cognitive expansion. Then came Mark's bold move. At 71, he enrolled in Spanish classes. If I'm losing memory, I figured I'd better use it while I have it. Using his 5-second tools when struggling with vocabulary. My brain loves new challenges. Before tests, I recall what I've learned with ease. The results? After 3 months, recalled 83% of new Spanish words, class average, 72%, stopped avoiding social gatherings, reported feeling 10 years younger mentally. But here's what moved me most. At his next granddaughter's party, Mark not only remembered every name, he taught the kids Spanish nursery rhymes. Your turn to begin right now. Before you even finish this video, I want you to 1. Pause the video. 2. Identify one anxious aging thought you've had today. 3. Write your 5-second replacement below. X. My brain is sharp. My brain adapts beautifully. Because here's the truth Mark proved: cognitive decline isn't inevitable, but believing it is. That becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Your mind is waiting for your instructions. What will you tell it today? Think of your mind like a parachute. It only works when it's open. All those fears about aging? They're like weights dragging you down. But here's the good news: you hold the cord. And after today, you know exactly how to pull it, to release those heavy doubts and float into your next chapter with confidence and clarity. Before you even leave this video, take one small victory lap. Hit that like button right now if you're committing to using this 5-second trick today. Let's see how many of us are ready to rewrite the aging story together. And because this is just the beginning, make sure you subscribe for part 3 next week, where we'll dive into the anti-aging foods your brain craves. You'll discover the 3 surprising ingredients that act like fertilizer for your neurons, and how to turn your kitchen into a brain rejuvenation lab. I want to hear your story down in the comments. Did you catch yourself in a negative aging thought today? What was your 5-second replacement? You're not just helping yourself, you're inspiring others in our community who need to hear that change is possible. Remember what Mark proved at 71. What Linda showed us with her arthritis. What the science confirms: aging isn't about loss, it's about direction. And starting today, you get to choose which way you go. I'll see you in the comments, and in part 3. Now go have your most confident day yet.